The FIFA 23 web app is set to release today, or it's possible it's already out by the time you're watching this video. So today we're going to go over 3 different methods that you can use to make coins on the web app. So the main 3 things we're going to be doing, of course, include footbin, and the first method is going to be one that a lot of people are already planning on doing because it's one of the most effective methods in the game. So essentially it's called SBC solution trading, and this is for the basic SBCs that we're going to get. Now a lot of people just don't have the brain capacity to complete these SBCs on their own. So what they do is they go ahead and go to the active challenges or the SBC complete solutions on footbin. Now what will happen is there'll be a set of solutions that come up here. You can go ahead and choose one of them, and then you can go and see what players are using. So if we go ahead and look at FIFA 22s, for example, we can see that all these different ones pop up, and right here we have the marquee matchups, the most recent ones in the game. If we go ahead and look at the completed challenges, we can actually see the different types of squads that are used. So what you're gonna do when FIFA 23 comes out and these solutions start appearing on footbin is you're gonna just keep refreshing the page until there's new squads that come up at the top, and simply you go into this brand new page right here, and you would go ahead and start buying some of these lower rated cards that people have been using for solutions. Now you have to do this when a brand new solution goes at the top, and this is because it's a fresh new one and these cards won't be super expensive. Now Spice, I don't really understand why would these cards just magically fly up like this. Well, the reason is when a lot of people start completing this SBC, a lot of people start buying these players, the prices end up getting jacked up, and with a lot of people also trying to do this method as well, this causes huge spikes. And then, for example, this squad at 38k for Xbox, it would start flying up the chart because just too many people bought those cards. Those cards are now too expensive, which means there's going to be a brand new solution at the new lowest price, and this is when you can buy those cards at the low price before more people start going in and purchasing it themselves. So the next method is actually one that I prefer over this last one, and this because there's just not as much competition, and it's actually where you go ahead and you start sniping usable starter squad players that are a little bit inflated in price. So I always like to sort by the paciest guys because this is how you know which cards are going to be used, and you just go ahead and find some low rated guys that are probably going to be inflated in price. Now I can't give you exact players right now, of course, because by recording right now there's no set prices, and even on the first day this is a little riskier to do as players start finding their prices. But let's take this guy right here, for example, Sheraldo Becker. Interesting name. He has 95 pace, so likely he's not going to be sitting at 650 coins, at least for the first few weeks of the game. What we can do with this card is, say he sat at 6k or something, little Timmy's gonna see that card at 76 rated. He's not gonna think that card is 6k, he's gonna think it's like 1k or something. So therefore he goes and lists him for a lot less. So the whole method is actually sniping these players that are inflated at a price lower than whatever it is. I like to go 1 or 2k under, as that's a decent profit for me. But you can do this with a lot of different cards. So for example, last year I did this so effectively with Renan Lodi when he was at Atletico because he had great links. He's a good card to use in starter teams, and you can do this year too. Find players with good links. Now Becker might not be the best card to do this with because his links are kind of bad, but for example, Inaki Williams, he'll be a good one to try and do this with, especially with 94 pace, 78 shooting. He'll be a popular card, but he won't be super expensive. He'll probably be like 10k maybe. I couldn't tell you honestly. It depends on supply and all that. But for example, some other popular cards, St. Juste, he's another good example. He might be very expensive though, being that he is a center back and all, but just trying to find these lower rated cards that are inflated in price. You just snipe them for less, guys. It's super easy to do, and like I said, with the other without the other method, a lot of people are going to be doing that. So this, there's a lot of room and there's a lot of different selections you can do. Of course, you got to wait for the price. And the good thing about this is if you do subscribe to me, I'm actually going to put out a couple videos in the next week or two stating specific players that you can do this with. Super easy to do. So yeah. And finally, for our last method, and this one's going to be a little bit tougher to do, of course, and it's not something you're going to be doing on day one, but looking for players that are very undervalued. and in essentially investing in them. Now this one you have to be super cautious with, and it's why I left it for the end of the video, because in my opinion it's not really worth the risk, but the reward could be really good. So what you guys are going to do again is kind of find those cheaper, lower rated cards that have very good stats, are very popular, and have very good links, and that have the potential to rise up in price. So the best example of this card last year would have been Ousmane Dembele. Now I don't see Ousmane here, so I'm going to have to search him up real quick. But essentially what happened with him is he started off very low in price, and after about a few days he rocketed in price. Now the reason why I said it's risky is there was a lot of other cards who were kind of high up in price too that were lower rated, like Emre Can, who sat at 15k, and you know, in that same span, while Dembele went to like 50k, Emre Can ended up going to about 2k, 3k. So like I said, it's very risky. But if we go ahead and take a look at Dembele's price here at the start of FIFA last year, you'll see an absolute big spike. Around the first few days, he was sat at like 27-ish K or whatever on Xbox, 49k on PS, and about a week later, before the full launch, his card nearly, rose like, 60-70% on both consoles. So this is a method you can look for in these first 2 days, finding these undervalued cards that are going to be good. Now Dembele is a rare example, of course, because he's 5-star. He is the same rating this year. Will it happen this year? Probably not. I think a lot more people are going to be aware of this. But if he's to start out at 25-ish K or something like that, this is a card you can go ahead and do that with. And any other cards as well. If you find cards that have 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot, very good stats, very good starter team players that can kind of stay in your squad for, a month or so, those are the cards that you can invest in on day one. As I said, we're going to have a ton of videos coming out for this week, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Drop a like on this one as it helps the video out, and check out this video on your screen because it's probably gonna give you more advice on how to make coins.